Aerodrome Finance, I hope you are ready. My name is mikemadz. Let's start this video. Before we start the video, Aerodrome community, make some noise as they always do. Every comment matters, every like matters. The more people engage, the more people are going to hear about Aerodrome, the better it's going to be for our bags, okay? Let's start. All right, let's stop wasting time. Let's jump straight into it. Today I want to cover the AERO health check here. Important metrics some people don't have on the radar. Price action for Aerodrome. What happened here in the last couple of days? This bullish price action of the AERO token. And finally, the biggest question here, when can Aerodrome finally hit the $10, $15 price mark? Let's start. All right, let's stop wasting time. Let's jump straight into it. I want to start off with the AERO health check here. Is everything in the right place? And one super important metric to take a look at is the holder amount of an asset to see if adoption is going in the right direction or not. Now, take a look at Aerodrome here. Aerodrome already, despite the fact that it's a fairly new project here, already with over 130,000 holders here. And what's super impressive, of course, as the price action is bullish, people tend to fly in the last 7 days alone here with a growth of over 12,000 holders here. Crazy impressive. And taking a look at Uniswap here, comparing those two, you have to keep in mind, of course, it has more cycles here under its belt. So it is an older project. Of course, it's going to have more holders. But comparing those two here on a time relative basis, this is actually super impressive for Aerodrome. And you have to keep in mind here, the growth of Uniswap, of course, stunted here in the last 7 days here with only a growth of 152 holders here. Now, this is not the most accurate comparison, but either way, it's a great visual representation here of where Aerodrome is at. And I suspect here that this gap here is going to close here in the next couple of weeks and months. Now, taking a look at those holders here, those AERO holders, the average lock time, guys, almost at the 4-year mark. This just simply shows you holders are having huge trust here in this project, locking your tokens for this amount of time here. Of course, the average lock time here is absolutely crazy impressive. A little side note here, I personally don't like to lock up my tokens for anything more than 3 months, as the crypto space is extremely dynamic here and everything can change here, especially here in the next 4 years. And you have to keep in mind, this adds to the price appreciation part of Aerodrome, as of course, the more people lock their tokens, the less sell pressure there is going to be. Okay, now take a look at achievement here of Aerodrome. Aerodrome has over $100 million in rewards, achieved that in less than a year, all of which have gone to the AERO voters. This just simply shows you here, guys, again, make use of your Aerodrome, whether it's going to be as a AERO voter here, or just lend it out, or just simply use Aerodrome in a liquidity mining pool. Just make sure you're using Aerodrome, generating the passive income, and of course then also benefiting of the price appreciation of the token, but also generating that cash flow, which is super important. All right, take a look at the price action here, and especially the price action of the AERO token in the last couple of days. Of course, if you are a holder, you would have noticed that Aerodrome is up over 160% here from the dip. Absolutely crazy impressive. But I also have to add, of course, Aerodrome was one of those tokens which also led a little bit more than other altcoins, simply because, in my personal opinion, Aerodrome has a lot of Coinbase retail in it, which unfortunately I think most of them got shaken out. This is not retail buying down here. I think retail was brave enough to buy this dip. This coincides with the area where politicians started to dabble with Aerodrome, and I personally think this is institutions buying at those levels. But either way, I told you, as always, be prepared for each scenario. And at the latest here, in my personal opinion, you should have waited until Aerodrome confirmed this bullish reversal, being above the bull market support band here, especially for more than 1 day here. Now, we are more bullish now and things are looking bright, but you have to keep in mind, we are at this very important level here of $1. First of all, psychological level, hands down. And second of all, this is just simply a big liquidity zone here with a lot of resistances, but also with a lot of support. Now, $1 will be super important. Once we close above $1 and hold that for a weekly candle, I think $1 will be crazy support here for the rest of the cycle. And how things are looking here, I don't think here that we're going to see lower prices for Aerodrome anymore until the end of the cycle here. Of course, not financial advice. And of course, I can be wrong here. Now, take a look at, if you ask me where we personally are and how things most probably will develop here in the next couple of days, this is a little bit too short term to tell, but this is kind of looking like a bull flag formation here, where we have this massive run up, form this downtrend channel almost, with a continuation here to the upside, to finally test, first of all, the all-time high, and then to finally break out of this all-time high to achieve new highs here for Aerodrome. But of course, we'll have to see how that goes. A small comparison here is earlier this year, massive run up, bull flag formation, which of course is slightly moving back to the downside, almost retesting the bull market support band, continuation, bull flag, continuation. Now, if you don't know what a bull flag is, this is a textbook bull flag right here. Again, you have this massive move to the upside, you create this channel which is slightly sloping to the downside, then you have this continuation pattern to the upside here, and it absolutely makes sense on a psychological level, guys. If you buy an asset, let's say down here, okay, this asset has a massive move to the upside, of course it makes sense for some people to take profit here on the top, no question about that. But also in those moves, guys, most people actually are sidelined, waiting. Those people are in disbelief and don't think those prices are sustainable here, but of course they're wrong, they're sidelined. So those people wait for dips here to jump back in. So those are those people here who wait for opportunities, and this goes so long until this trend breaks finally and continues to the upside. So if you ask me, Mike, where are we currently and how things are looking? Currently things are looking absolutely bullish. We have a V-shaped recovery. Bitcoin is in a very, very healthy state. And again, Bitcoin leads the way. So I personally think we have continuation to the upside here. But again, which doesn't mean that we're going to shoot up straight from here. Now, is it possible? Absolutely, guys. This is crypto and we can have one huge candle to the upside here. No question about that. But what it's more likely here, some sort of pattern like this here, where we chop couple days here, couple weeks to the sideways and then continue to the upside. All right, when can AERO finally reach that $5, $10, $15 mark? When is it finally time, Mike? When I'm gonna be rich? When can I buy my Lambo, Mike? Answer this question. This is one of the most asked questions here for me personally, in the chats, in DMs, etc. So now, in order to answer that question, you simply have to look at two things. First thing is, where is Bitcoin? Is the top in for Bitcoin? Why is that important, guys? Because usually liquidity from Bitcoin here trickles down into high risk assets, into altcoins, etc. First into Ethereum and then into high risk assets, just like Aerodrome. So we'll have to see, is the top even in for Bitcoin or not? And one great indicator here, which is massively underlooked in my personal opinion, well, of course, it's just one tool to have in your toolbox here. This is not the only indicator you should rely on. It is the P cycle top indicator, just simply moving averages. And once they cross, especially also back tested here, once they cross, they usually signal a top here for Bitcoin. As you can see here in recent cycles, cross top, and also here in the recent cycle, it signaled here the first top of Bitcoin, not the second top, which was a little bit higher. But either way, if you would have listened to this indicator, you would have taken profits here at almost the perfect time here. Now, take a look at this indicator. As you can clearly see here, we still have lots of room to grow for Bitcoin, and those moving averages are nowhere near close to be crossing. But also I have to add here, this can happen very fast, especially once the parabola is in play for Bitcoin. Those moving averages can close, of course, pretty fast. So Bitcoin will still have lots of room to grow to the upside for Bitcoin here. And again, this liquidity from Bitcoin will trickle down into altcoins. And this is where the mania phase, this altcoin season comes into play. And this is where Aerodrome is going to hit that crazy high valuations and even higher potentially than we expect. So Bitcoin still has lots of room to grow to the upside. So there's still time left here in this cycle. And one super important thing also to add here, we're not even in the altcoin season yet here, guys. Okay, believe it or not, altcoins are still lagging behind. Bitcoin is still dominating, especially if you look at the Bitcoin dominance here. And I suspect here this can last another 1 or 2 months here. And then slowly but surely, either in Q4 or early 2025, is where I personally expect here this final crazy altcoin mania to take place, where altcoins pump 2x here in a couple of days. You will know when mania is around. Mania, you can feel it almost, and especially here, the price action reflects that. So if you ask me personally, Mike, when do you expect AERO to reach this kind of valuations? First of all, guys, nothing is sure, of course, but as you know, I'm bullish on Aerodrome, and I personally think those price predictions are very realistic and conservative. So Q4 or 2025. So we'll have still lots of room to grow to the upside here. We'll still have room here in this cycle, if we're not all wrong, of course. But taking a look at things here, we have the rate cut here on the horizon, the liquidity injection hopefully coming soon, and also we have the election here. So things are converging here to a very, very bullish scenario here in those next couple months. I personally am crazy excited, guys, and I hopefully have you with the journey with me. At the end of the day, guys, as always, the most important thing is be bullish on yourself. That yields the most returns. Do your own research, super important. Everybody can be wrong, so make sure to gauge your risk And the most important thing is, as always, don't get wrecked.
Giving up from blue tops like Mars Simpson, just hard discipline, pot simmering, cooking up, no rocks in the pan, watching the plane form in the sand, bidding castles out of thoughts in our head, late nights, no sleep in my bed, trying to see my dreams manifest. Look at that, now look at that, we nice.